Before FLEXBOX, people used positioning and float properties to design their layouts. These methods were often messy and hard to align items until FLEXBOX introduced. After watching this video, you will have no confusion about FLEXBOX. I will explain everything with examples, and I will cover only those properties which are important and commonly used. You will get source code in the description of this video. So first, what is FLEXBOX? So FLEXBOX is used to align items on rows or columns of the web page. It helps elements to fit nicely on the web page even if the size of a screen changes. So before understanding everything, I want you to know something: main axis and cross axis. So now you can see this is a graph. In this graph, this horizontal red line is the main axis and this vertical blue line is the cross axis. Now let's begin. Now you can see these three boxes: box 1, box 2, box 3. Now understand the invisible graph here, which is focus on my cursor. Now you can see this horizontal line, which is main axis, and this vertical line is cross axis. Now let's understand the FLEXBOX. In this container, you can see when I did the display flex, these boxes were moved from cross axis to main axis. Now the first property of the FLEXBOX is flex direction. If I say flex direction column, now you can see the three boxes are in column, but I am sure you understand that these three boxes are on cross axis. If you think like that, you are wrong. Now when I say flex direction column, the main axis, which is horizontal line, move to cross axis and the cross axis move to main axis. In this situation, the main axis is now the vertical line and the cross axis is now the horizontal line, and these boxes are on the main axis. And if I say, and now you can see they back on their default settings. Now the cross axis is vertical line and the main axis is horizontal line. I hope you understand the flex direction. Now let's move on the justify content. So what is justify content? Now whenever these three boxes are on the main axis, to align these three boxes we use justify content. Justify content. Now if I say justify content flex start, you can see nothing happened because they are already on the start of this web page. Now if I say flex end, you can see now the boxes moved from start to end and center. Justify content center, you can see they moved from start to the center to the middle point of the web page. If I say justify content space around, now you can see there is spaces between the boxes and there is a space on the edges of the boxes. Now if I say space between, now you can see there is no space on the edges of the boxes and there is a space in between the boxes. And now if I say space evenly, now you can see there is a space on the edges of the boxes and between the boxes. Space evenly is similar to space around but not same. In space evenly, now you can see in space evenly these three boxes distributed their space evenly between them. So justify content is used to align items on the main axis. I hope you understand the justify content. Now we can align our items on cross axis by using the property which is align items. We can align our items on cross axis by using the property which is align items. To use this property, first we have to give height to our container, which is for align item we have to give our container a height, which is I will give my container means, for example, 500 pixel height. Then I will say align items center. You can see my boxes are the center of 500 pixel height. Now if I say align item end, now you can see they are on the end of 500 pixel height. And now if I say flex start, now the flex start will move them to the start of the cross axis, and flex end will move them on the end of the cross axis. Now the baseline will align our item, so the baseline text will be aligned. Now for more explanation, I have added the border in this font size 1.5 rem. Now you can see because of baseline it is aligned, then the other boxes text is aligned. Now I hope you understand these three properties. Now let's move on the next property, which is flex wrap. This property will work when you have a lot of boxes. You can see these boxes are crushing each other. So if I say flex wrap to wrap, then you can see the boxes are set to wrap. Okay, the boxes are not crushing each other, and now you can see the boxes are fit nicely. Now we have an other property, which is align content, not to be confused with align items. This is totally different. This align content only works when there is flex wrap is set to wrap, and also have items to wrap like this. This property allows us to align everything on the cross axis. Like for example, I say center, like you can see these are wrapping and these are on the center of this container. Okay, now if I say baseline, these are on the baseline. Okay, and end, you can now see these are on the end of the container. This property works like this. So now hope you understand this property. This align content property is much similar to justify content. Like if I say another is space around, now you can see there is space between them, space evenly. Now you can see there is space evenly, space between. Now you can see there is a space between them, and lots more in this property. You can also explore. Align content property is different from align items because the difference between them, align item align the items on the cross axis. Align content also align the items on cross axis, but it works with the property flex wrap when it's set to wrap and having items to be wrapped. So I hope you understand these two properties. So this was align content and flex wrap property. Hope you understand. Now let's move on the other property, which is gap property. For example, if I say gap 10 pixel, now you can see there is gap between them. If I say gap 0, no effect. If I say gap 20 pixel, you can see there is gap. Okay, so that's how gap property works. Hope you understand. So for the next property, we have to select the box. For example, we select box 1. Okay, so now the next property is flex grow. Now you can see if I say flex grow to 1, now you can see the box 1 grows there. This property allows to grow the item when there is enough space. Okay, now for like you can see this enough space. Okay, this is enough space to grow for a box. Okay, so when I give box 1 flex grow 1, it grows. Now I can also do it with number 2 box you can see, and also number 3 box, now you can see it also grows. Hope you understand this property flex grow. Okay, so now another property is flex shrink. Okay, this is also a unitless property. If I say flex shrink 5, then see nothing happened, but if I shrink the container, now you can see the box 1 is shrinking faster than box 2 and box 3. The box 1 shrinks first, and after that box 3 and box 2 are shrinking now. Okay, so if I apply it on box 2, now you will see box 2 will first shrink, then box 3 and box 1 will shrink. If I apply it on the box 3, now you can see box 3 is shrinking first, then box 1 and box 2 is shrinking. Okay, hope you understand. Now the next property is, now another property is flex basis. Flex basis defines the size of an atom before the space is distributed. Now another property is align self. Align self only applies on individual box. For example, if I apply it on box 1, then I can align box 1 on the cross axis. For example, if I say align self to center, now you can see box 1 moves to center of this container. It aligned itself to the center. If I say align self to flex end, if I say align self to flex end, now you can see the box moves to end from start to end. Okay, it aligned itself to the end on the cross axis. Start, you can see it's a default property. Now the next property is order property. This property is used to order the boxes. Like if I say box 3 minus 1, now you can see box 3 is on the first because the order of 3 boxes are 0. Okay, so if I want to reverse these boxes, then now you can see like box 3 on first, box 1 on second, box 2 on third. Okay, so if I have to give the order to them, so I will use the order property. Now if I say box 1 order 1, so you can see now this order reverses, like box 3 comes first, box 2 on second, box 1 on last. So this property is used like this. This property you will use when you have to, because it messes with the semantics and accessibility of the code. So if you want to see any properties detail, you can select this property and go to MDN references. Like you can see this is MDN web. Now you can see any order. If I give order 0, you can see now here is the reference of this order property. So you can see like this. So this was today's video. If you like this video, like and subscribe my channel. So these was properties. Mostly you will use only these properties. So if you have any doubt, write in the comment. Bye.